me on social media. Oh, sorry. Let's see. Okay. Hi, I'm Christina. You can find me on social media as Hey Christina Mac. I specialize in all things art. So I do everything from hand lettering to watercolor to drawing, all the above. Here today, we're going to talk about, as you guys know, drawing florals. And if you guys didn't get the paperwork, you can find it on the Michael's website near this class description, and you can print it out. This is a free resource. Normally, you'd pay a lot of money just to learn how to do these specific things. So I definitely recommend downloading them. If you guys have any questions, I watch the chat as we go through, so I will be able to answer questions. There are people from Zebra Pen as well answering questions. If it's a more generic question for Zebra, if it's a question for me, feel free to just maybe put Christina, then dash whatever your question is. And then I'm going to give you guys a little background, or not background, just breakdown of these pens. And then we'll jump into making our florals. So if Maddie, you want to put this on this camera, perfect. Okay, so these are the pens I'm using today. As you could see in the class description, it talks about using whatever, like the colors of your choice. I chose like a variety of my favorite colors. I love purples and greens and yellows and blues. That pretty much covers all colors, but alas, I love them all. Okay, so in these papers, we go over the Midliner brush, how you can do a rose, the Midliner, which is just a highlighter, but it is also a drawing tool as well. And I'm going to show you guys how to use those. We have the Sarasa clips. These are these pens. They're super awesome. They're 0.5 ballpoint, and then they clip onto things, whether hence the Sarasa clip. Then we have simple cute flowers that you guys can doodle, and a combined idea of it all. All right, let's jump right in. We are going to show you the brush pens first. So I'm going to use this nice purple. We'll move these off of the sheet. Okay, so with the Zebra Pen brush pen, what I love most about them is we've got the brush side right here. And with the brush, you can do thick downstrokes and thin upstrokes. These pens are great for drawing and lettering as well. So I love using them for lettering. Okay. On the other side, we have the bullet tip, and the bullet tip is more of a monoline drawing utensil. Monoline. If I'm trying to write, I can't always think about spelling. It's actually funny. Okay, so those are the two aspects of this pen. If you look at the worksheet that I made for you guys today, it breaks it down. I also want you guys to know I'm using this Bristol paper that you can get from Michael's. When it comes to using felt tip pens, this is a felt tip pen. It's always better to use smoother paper. So paper you can use is Bristol paper, marker paper, pen paper. I don't recommend, if you're using a felt tip pen like this, that you use printer paper. Don't use printer paper. It damages your pens, as well as any pen with texture. Sometimes I intentionally damage my pen if I want to use them as watercolors, but we won't get into that today. Okay, so just a reminder, these worksheets are available for free on the michaels.com website where you signed up for this class. It is just you click it and you download it. Okay, so first of all, we're going to talk about how to make a rose with your Midliner brush pen. All right, as we can see here, it does thick downstrokes. And when we do thick downstrokes, we're going to add pressure to the pen, okay? When you add pressure to the pen, I'm going to show you how to do this, but I'm going to break it down for you first. So when you add pressure to the pen, it gives you that thick downstroke. And when you want a thin stroke like this, you're going to do no pressure. You're going to lighten that pressure, okay? The key is to hold your pen at almost like a 45-degree angle. That way it gets that nice tilt down and the thin stroke up. This is going to take a lot of practice. When I talk about lettering or anything with a brush, if you don't warm up, you're always going to have a little bit of the shake. So I didn't warm up before this class. If you can even tell, my upstroke is a little bit shaky, but by the end of the class, after all the practicing and doodling, whatever, my strokes tend to even out a little bit better. That takes practice. And even as like I've been doing this for years, I still, unless my hand is warmed up, get the shakes. So don't think that if you're shaky, this isn't possible. No, you just got to get that muscle memory and it'll be fine. Okay, so then on this rose, right? Roses are super fun. They're honestly one of the easiest flowers that you can master. And one of the ways I described it is just semicircles working the way out. So as you can tell right here, I did a semicircle, and I'm going to show you this in person, just where to put the pressure, where not to put the pressure. And I continue to do like squiggly semicircles on the way out that then continue to go out. And then you finish it off with the leaves. So today for this rose, I'm going to show you how to do it. Let's write it right here. Rose. That way if people come in last second, they can see we're doing a rose. Okay. So with this rose, I'm going to show an arrow. Okay. With the rose and the brush, which I'm actually going to show you how to use the brush pen to make two different kind of roses, even though in this worksheet is really just with the brush side. You can do it with the monoline side as well. It's actually super pretty both ways. Okay, so let's see. With this, we're going to do a thick downstroke, and this is all personal preference as well. You can do a thin stroke first to pressure, right? I see a question about strokes, so I'll hit it. It says, is the rule thin up and thick down, or the other way around? It's thick down, thin up, typically, right? When it comes to lettering or just like basic strokes, it's a little less natural to do thin down and thick up. So that's why it's always thick up. I mean, thick down, thin up. Sorry, guys. And this applies, like I said, to lettering as well. So when you're going to do like an H, let's say we do high, see the thin up, thick down, thin up, thick down, thin up, right? Okay. So it's always good to keep that similar when we use it to draw as well. That way our muscle memory builds up and it's, you know, great. So right here, I'm going to do another semi and bring it together. So what I like is that, or what's easy about doing roses is there's not much thought. You kind of just like bring petals out from the middle all the way out until you like the look of it. And I like when there's a little gap to fill it in with a petal. And I actually have a rose. This is really funny. I have a dried rose right here that I could, oh no, that one's a carnation. Actually I just used it today, but so dang it, I can't show you. It's not perfect, and literally any way you make these, it will look great. So wherever you place your petals, as you can tell in this one, I decided to kind of cover this right here and then overlap those. So every time it's going to be a little bit different, but in the end, it looks like a rose. So there we have that. Okay, so again, semicircles, and you can play around before you jump into making a rose. Just play around with the strokes, you know, get comfortable with how you want to do it. So when it comes down to making it, you can just bust it out super easy by just making those semicircles, right? So again, semicircle in the middle to start, wrap it around. So that's like the middle part of the rose. It's also super helpful if you wanted to have like a reference photo. I don't necessarily need reference photos because I've been drawing flowers for years. So it's easier for me to like just bust it out. But with reference photos, you can also look at the line work thereof. If you understand, you get me. So we're just going to show you one more time how we work our way out, because this is a little bit different than what I did before. Just in a circular rotation, just adding those petals. And I do less of the thin stroke on this one. So really it can vary, right? And sometimes even in flowers, we have petals that kind of curve over like this. And you can add that with the thin strokes too if you wanted to add a little bit more depth to your flower. Okay, now I'm going to show you, leaves are easy, let's be honest. Leaves are, I wouldn't even know what shape to describe this as, but a leaf shape. And I basically did the shape and I did the thin stroke down, thick stroke up, and add a little stroke in the middle. The way you do leaves, it depends on you. Sometimes people like to add a little bit more texture to leaves by creating, you know, the ridges in the leaves. To me, this looks more like a leaf that belongs with a poppy. So each leaf really just depends on what flower you're drawing. But honestly, this type of basic leaf is perfect for any type of flower. Looks great as a little accent. We haven't gotten to the Sarasa clip yet, but when it comes to drawing your flowers, you can always take the Sarasa clip. Oh, someone said leaf shape is a soft diamond. That's a great analogy. I love that. Thumbs up. With the Sarasa clip, the ballpoint, you can also add fun little details. Sometimes I like when, you know, ink is added. If you follow me on Instagram, you see that I actually add ink to a lot of things because I like to bring in the more sharp lines over the thin, like the softer lines. So this is a technique you can use with your Sarasa clip and your ballpoint to kind of just make something look a little different and funky. You don't even have to make it so it's completely like perfect with the line below. You can make it uneven. You can make it, yeah, uneven. It doesn't have to be perfect. Once we get to the Sarasa clip part, I'll show you a couple more like stylistic things you can do with it as well when you draw things like this. I even like to add extra flowers that don't have, or leaves that don't have color underneath it when I'm drawing flowers. It's just a different stylistic thing to do. I see it a lot more with like illustration, where sometimes you have things that don't have color underneath, but it kind of brings it together. You can add funky lines, right? At the end of this class, I'm going to show you how to bring the different flowers together to create like a nice little piece you could frame or give to someone. But as for the rose with this brush pen, you can do it without any lines, or you can add lines and make it look a little. Okay, feel free again to add any questions in the chat. I am fielding those. So I'm here watching them. Just right there in front of me is my computer and I watch them. Okay, next we have the, oh, we did that. Next we have the mild liner. So this is just basic mild liner. That's what it's called. The mild liner brush is the one that has the brush tip. The basic mild liner does not have a brush tip. It has, which works really great if you're a student to highlight notes. Some people are into Bible lettering and you can highlight things and it actually doesn't bleed through those thin papers. Some people use it for drawing or doodling, like I'm going to show you here, and for a variety of other things, to be completely honest. On this other side is the bullet tip. And with the bullet tip, I was going to show you how to do the rose with bullet tip. We'll come back to that. With a bullet tip, you can also do doodles. So here we have the mild liner, and I'm going to show you how to make a daisy out of it. I'm also going to show you how to make a poppy out of it with the bullet tip. Okay, so the chisel tip is more of a guys, these words is more of a diagonal line, I'd say, right? And so it offers more thickness, and depending on the strokes, you can get different strokes from this. You can get that, which is just a straight line, added at an angle. You can get an angular one. You can get thin, depending on how you're holding it. If we hold it at a different angle, we get different strokes as well. Pens are actually one of my favorite favorite things to use when it comes to drawing. Oh, thank you. A slanted chisel. That is correct. pens are one of my favorite things to use when it comes to drawing, because there are so many different strokes you can get out of it. You just need to sit down and watch one of your favorite shows and just play around with it. See what strokes you like, see what different looks you like. I like how you can also get that super thin straight line right there as well. You can also like get a super more thick line depending on how you hold your pen. One of my favorite things to do is just sit in front of a good show and just sometimes I just write out what they're saying and play around. This is great also for like old school calligraphy. And it's just fun, guys, for real. I'm gonna get distracted writing the alphabet because it's good time. Okay, so let's see. With your questions, I'm just gonna answer a couple of them right now. Left-handers have difficulty with heavy up, thin down. Is the opposite okay? I have my left-hander friend is actually here. I might have her pop in since we have a lefty, just to show how she does her strokes. Left-handers are the same, but it is a little bit, so this is my left hand, this is not dominant, but you're just you pull differently, right? So thick down, thin up. Sometimes it's even easier for my left hand to kind of work backwards. With lettering, if we're talking about lettering, lettering is all about shapes. So it actually is quite easy to letter backwards as long as you know your shape spacing, right? So I am actually terrible. Oh, that's pretty good, guys. Hand clap for that for my left-handed when that is not my dominant hand. So with lefty, if you are lettering, you can, sorry, I'm getting distracted by how good my A was. Wow. You can work backwards because it is based on shapes and not necessarily the actual like letter. I taught a lettering class with these brush pens a couple months ago, and you can find that on Michael's website, and you can go over like how to do it. I do talk a little bit about lefties when it comes to lettering as well, but the same goes for these drawings. Being left-handed it is still thick down, but you might want to just work right to left. These don't smudge, but just for your comfort, essentially. Okay. That was left-hander. Let me know if you have any questions about more lefty. Heavy is supposed to be down. Yep. Slanted chisel. Love that. Chisel functions like a calligraphy pen. Yes, it does. I love drawing with, yep. Perfect. These the bullet side also are like those type of pens. Do you hold the more down toward the, oh, how do I hold the pen? Okay. Great question, guys. When I hold the pen, it just depends on how much control I want, right? If I'm closer to the tip, I don't feel like I have much like control to go larger when it comes to drawing. So look at when I hold it close, I can really only get down and do something small. I can't really go bigger because there's not much extension from here. Now, if I hold my pen more above this ridge line right here, I have that extension in my wrist and less in my actual hand. And I like the control in my wrist because let's be honest, these little dinky fingers aren't that strong. My wrist is much stronger. And with drawing and lettering, it is better to get the flick of the wrist right here. Oh, sorry guys, I'm just using that finger. Get the flick of the wrist right here. And when you hold it closer, you don't get that flick really well because your hand, the palm of your hand is right here. So there's much less ability for movement as there is if you hold it back here. So again, like I was talking about here and practicing the strokes, I definitely suggest playing around with where you hold your pen. That way you can see for yourself which one you like better because it is definitely a preference. Okay. I love traditional calligraphy. Great. Traditional calligraphy is great with these pens. And you don't have to worry with, sometimes I feel like when you do traditional calligraphy with like more of a pen instead of this Midliner marker, you have to worry about bleeding a lot. These markers do not bleed. They're fantastic for stuff like that. And they dry quickly. So you're able to get that, you know, not smudge and whatever. Okay. I talked to you about do you hold it more down towards the tip? We talked about that. Yay, backward strokes are easy for lefties. Totally, they're great. And I'm glad y'all have family here with lefties. I know if you look under the hashtag lefty letters, there's great like references there. And okay, zebra pens, permanent ink, they are, I'm pretty sure they're permanent. Zebra, please chip in and let me know if they aren't. They can be blended, but they are water resistant when dry. Yes. Okay, can you show how to write a C with the chisel tip? Happy to. And then we'll get back to this class. My name starts with a C, you know, Christina. So with the chisel tip, traditional calligraphy, you hold it a certain way to get that, you know, look. I haven't done traditional calligraphy since I did my wedding invites many, many years ago. But yeah, it just depends. I can't remember if you hold with traditional calligraphy where you hold the chip. Maybe you guys in the chisel tip, maybe you guys in the comments can remind me, but it's probably not that. I think, gosh, really, it's been since I got married years ago. The thing is, when you learn lettering or even these rules for the flowers, I always say, and I'm pretty sure it's like a Pablo Picasso quote. I'm not original. It's definitely a quote I read. And I'm gonna put money on it being Pablo Picasso, that you learn the rules to break the rules. So I learned these rules years ago to do wedding invites. And I definitely now break them because I want to create my own style. Okay, please stop answering questions and teach class. I will, I'm back. Okay, mild liners, here we go. So we got the chisel, we got the bullet. Let's do a daisy. Okay, for the purpose of this daisy, we are going to hold the bullet, the chisel tip in this manner. So the chisel is flat right here. So as you can see with this daisy on the middle part, we're gonna go with the straight line. And on the way up, we're gonna do more pressure to make it thick and pull it down, okay? See how that is the middle. These are more of a doodle fashion, obviously not super like, you know, detailed, but this is how I like to do it. And simply enough, you're gonna take the chisel and you're just gonna pull that around to make a nice little petals for the flower. Okay, so I'm gonna show this to you right now. I like my daisies to be yellow and gray. And I'm gonna bust out another gray that's a chisel tip. Give me a second. To bust out my gray chisel tip. Okay. I like to keep my colors of my mild liners organized by, I like to keep my mild liners organized by color. That way it's easier to find. Okay, so for this daisy, I'm going to do the middle part as yellow. Okay, so we're going to take this yellow, we're going to do the straight line across, and we're going to pull it up like this. So it's easy. We got that middle portion of the daisy. Then I'm going to grab that gray right here. I'll pull this down. Sorry, guys. And I'm going to get the petals. So really, this just depends on your style, but I'm going to hold it more. So also pay attention to my fingers right here. A little, I don't need as much like rotation with my wrist. I'm going to hold it closer to the pen cap. And I'm going to make those nice petals right here. Okay. And the same goes for the chisel tip as it does the bullet tip. Practice makes it less shaky, okay? So there we have the daisy. I'm gonna fill in this middle part with yellow. And I should grab another yellow. This is, obviously I use this color a lot. And with the daisy right here, we can color in those petals like this. I don't like perfection when it comes to making art. I like to have like little gaps and spaces. If it was perfect, it wouldn't be handmade, as a quote I heard once. Wish I could tell you who said it, but I can't. Sorry, don't remember. Now we can even, yeah, for sake of this class, we'll keep it simple. So that's how you do Daisy. Super easy, more of a doodle look. If you wanted to, you know, take a green and add like a line and a leaf, you can. That's a way to do it with the chisel tip. I want the thicker. Actually, let's add that thicker right here. And I like that thin middle. Yeah, little cute little doodle, guys. All right, moving on. After I do the poppy, I will answer some questions. Sorry to those who don't like the questions, but I will answer some of them. With the poppy, let's bust out a different color for that. Poppies are normally red, so let's grab a red. Now with the bullet tips, they're more of a monoline, so I don't even have to go over really, you know, the brush strokes or lines because they're pretty self-explanatory. Monoline only makes one line. Okay, poppy, right? With poppies, gorgeous. Here in Utah, I'm from Utah, we have gorgeous poppy fields this time of year, and I'm really bummed that they die pretty quickly out there. Okay, we're going to do a petal because flowers, sometimes when you look at them, the petal either curves like this, like we talked about with the roses, or they come towards you. So let's say I'm right here. It hits like say this is me and I'm looking at the flower. Sometimes the flower comes out, but for purpose of this class, we're going to look at the petal as if it's like this when we're looking at it. Right here is the petal, and then behind it, the intro petal right here, and then behind it, the other petals come out behind it. Okay, so we've got this petal that comes out, and I like to do the middle one first because then I can work these side ones around it. All right, and with poppies, if you look down on them, the middle of poppies typically are round, and they have these pretty almost like seeds that come out from it. So if you were to draw a poppy from the top, this is kind of like what you would do. But right now we're drawing a poppy from the side, and we're going to take that gray, and because these normally come out of the flower, we're going to add a couple that pop out right here. Okay, you can color it in, you can add some line work. So let's say I want to add some line work, and we're going to add some shadows with the line work down here, or you can just full blown color it in. We're going to have this petal come down. I like that. In this illustration, I don't necessarily have the petals come down, but if you were to, you can just add it right there. Okay, again, for those of you who are just joining, I'm using Bristol paper. When it comes to felt tip pens, I recommend using Bristol paper, anything soft, Bristol, marker paper, watercolor paper, etc. So for these poppies have different type of jagged on the edges. When you add your leaves, add more jagged edges. And then you can add no detail like this, or you can add detail to the middle. Really, it's all about personal preference. You can add some vein details in the leaves. And if you want to add a stem, you can add a stem. Sometimes with poppies, they have their leaves come down from their neckline like that. Awesome. So that's just with one brush or one marker, you can create two different style looks. Let's say we want to make the daisy with the mild liner, or with the mono side, excuse me, this is the mild liner. We're going to take the bullet part and we can do the middle like this. And then we can take the bullet chip and make more like actual petals that are a little bit more shaky, because typically petals aren't as completely round as that is. If we want to then color it in, we can color it in with either side. So we do this. You can come and color it in. And I'm gonna, oops, drop some pens. I'm gonna just, let's see, how do I want to do this? I'm gonna color it in with the bullet chip because we're talking about that. I liked this little difference of the dark versus the light with the outline. But again, everything is about learning things and then making it your own personal look as well. I'm going to come in because, like I said, making it your own personal look, take some orange or vermilion, excuse me. And since I did the darker outline for that, I'm going to do a darker outline for this. And that's like a little style you could use. So when it comes to learning things and making art your own, you can adjust as you please. And we'll add like a nice little petal. Perfect. Guys, doodling is so fun, especially if you were to fill this whole paper with doodles. It's honestly a blast. And then it looks super cool at the end. And then if you have a doodle page, I like to fill them, you'll see at the end, with cool little abstracty lines to bring it all together, which when we do the combo page at the end, you'll see I add those like dots and lines. Okay, moving on for sake of time, so I can get to your questions and talk about different drawing techniques. Okay, so the Sarasa clip is a ballpoint pen as seen here. This right here, I didn't label on the worksheet and I should have. It's more like a carnation. So let's write carnation so you all know. Carnation. This is my normal handwriting. Lettering is definitely different. Here is a nice dried carnation. As you can see, the petals are more choppy and it's more layered. And it's great. Okay, so with the carnation, we're going to work from this middle section right here. I'm going to circle it so you can see where, like, this is the starting point, and in the end, this is where it will be, this part. Okay, with the Sarasa clips, they are ballpoint. They're a monoline, so it's the same line. You can, if you put it at an angle, get like more choppier, but if you keep it straight on, you've got the nice crisp ink. It's great. Okay. With the carnation and the Sarasa clip, we're going to start with the middle petal. And the great thing is, guys, with this class, I did legitimately just give you the step-by-step. So I'm showing you it, but you won't forget because you can go home, or you are home. You can tonight grab these papers and just practice, 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 and then make your own style. So we're going to work our way out with that petal, right? We're going to bring in a petal right here because where's my dried carnation? I have a couple. It works its way out. Normally when this is not dried, it comes out a little bit more, and we can look at it at a different angle as well and get this drawing. I mean, get the line. So you can see a line right here, line right here. We're just going to use that. Okay. So then with this petal, we're going to add one right here, and we'll add one right here. And then carnations, the petals come down. See how this one right here is coming down? I should have had, next time I'll have a bunch of flowers ready too. So this is coming down. So we're going to add petals that come down as well. Okay. Coming down, and then the back, we're just gonna add some depth to it right here, and we've got it. Obviously, I'm still pro, and I sometimes overlap like that, but that's okay. All right, so with this, in my worksheet, I just do some flower lines there. But if you were to like continue with something like this, you know, from this angle where I'm drawing, oh, broke that off, that's okay. Where I'm drawing, you don't really see as much of this part, but you do get that nice little stem and flower. So we can do a little stem. And if we want, we can add like a little, not flower, leaf coming down right here. Typically I avoid stems. They're not the prettiest things in the whole world, let's be honest, especially with something like this. With the Sarasa clip, when you see me drawing it on Instagram, I don't always love a one-lined doodle. I actually like to come in and add more shakiness to it as well. I think that adds a fun texture and covers up any mistakes made as well. So I love where, let me see, I had an example to show you with the shakiness, but that's okay. We have limited time. So this just creates a different type of impact as well. So it's not perfect lines. I like lines like this, right? Because let's be honest, this is very choppy. Okay. All right, let's add this here. Awesome. That's how you do a carnation. It's pretty simple and easy, and it's great. Now this flower here, I honestly just made up myself. Don't know what we'd call it. Maybe y'all can name it. My cute little neighbor that comes over and draws with me sometime and has me like teach her friends, she's 11, calls this the typical Christina flower, right? So I draw it a lot. I've put it on things before, sweatshirts. I like love drawing this one. And I think I love drawing it because it's super easy and each time you can change it around a bit. So the way to do this is to start with a middle, like imperfect round thing, middle, right? I like to then, I guess at the end on here, I do it at the end, add just the little details to the middle, you know, the little spots the bees come to make honey. So I then take this and I create a petal right here. And then I'm going to create the petal on the other side. And this flower as well is going to be cupped over like so. Then I take it from almost, if you were to imagine this as like a T, take it from the side of the T right here and bring it to the top. Same with this one, take it from the side of the T and bring it to the top. And then I'm going to take this and connect the sides here. All right. And then in this picture, I only do one cupping petal, but you can change that up and add another shape, cupping over there, whatever you please. Or yeah, whatever you want. Then, because this is just a doodle flower, I'm adding the middle part of it where the pollen is, like so. And just like the printout that you guys have, I add some dots just for fun. In this drawing, I don't add any details, but hypothetically, you can come in and add some fun line work for the shadow areas. If you want to show that this is more curve shaped, you can just like curve your lines. So bullet, excuse me, this type of pen does not matter the paper you use. It can be any kind of paper. It works fantastic. You don't need to protect it because there's nothing to protect. It's just a little ball in it. So however you want, you can add your details with this pen. You can add dots. If you check out my Instagram or TikTok, sometimes I add like dots when it comes to shooting. It really just depends on what you want to do. But those are some options. Sarasa clips, super easy, super fun to do when it comes to doodling, and filling a page with fun Sarasa clips is great because there's a bunch of different colors that you can use as well. So if I want to add, let's say the petals in a different or the leaves, excuse me, in a different color, I come in and add them like so. Okay, awesome. Let me check out the time really quick so I want to be able to field questions too. Okay, the cute flowers at the end, or simple flowers, and then we'll do this combined and then I'll answer some questions. So these are just doodles that I like to use to fill a page. You can see in my doodles that I did the other day with the bullet, you can use bullets for these. I fill the page with circles, or I fill it with cute little leaves, or even these just leaves right here. Okay, when you're teaching a class, guys, if you ever teach it, your brain sometimes goes to mush. So you can't even remember typical words for things. Time, thank you. That's a great one, time. Okay, so these I call filler or cute, simple flowers, but mostly I use them as fillers when it comes to doodling. These are super easy. You can do it with any of the pens. In this example, I use the Sarasa, but you just, honestly, I don't even feel like I need to like teach you guys these because they're pretty self-explanatory when you look at the sheet of paper, and you can copy them super easy. I love my little lemons here. They're so cute. So lemons are just like a circle with a little bottom part. And at the top, we come in and add our cute little leaves. Lemons are fun, easy. Everybody loves lemons. I could show you some of my lemon paintings, but I won't. You can check them out on the gram. I made like a 10 last year. Okay, dots as details. This one, same daisy, just different approach with the pen. Hearts, great fillers, little doodle flowers that we've seen from our childhood, super easy. Sometimes I like to use dots. You could use dots with like a little reflection to look like a drop of water. These are great fillers when it comes to doodling flowers. Okay, now let's work on I'm going to show you just a little combined piece. I'm going to use the combined piece with, we'll see, I might use the chisel, I might not, but I'm going to show you different styles as well. Right now, when it comes to adding your Midliner brush pen and the Sarasa clip, because you can do different styles with the details, or you can just leave it plain. In my intro picture to the class, this is the drawing that you can see, and you can see in the drawing, I just did it with Midliners. I didn't add details with the black, but in typical Christina style, I'm going to show you what it looks like with some black eye. Okay, so let's do that. I also sometimes, I'm just going to flip this over, save some paper, don't like to use corresponding colors with a corresponding flower. So roses typically are red, violets typically are blue. We know that. I'm going to do different colors for these things. So today I'm going to probably do this one in purple. I like that, this lighter purple. Complementary color to purple is yellow. Yellow looks great. We can do orange. I think I'm going to do this teal color. Okay, and then let's see, I'll use purple here. I'll use the teal color more for the doodled carnation. And for the sake of this flower, let's see, what should I do? What color? I think I'll do this lighter blue. Okay, so quickly, just so you guys could see this in action, I'll show this to you. For purposes of cohesiveness, I never took a floral design class, but I remember I had a roommate in college who did, and she always said uneven numbers in a floral design piece is what is more aesthetically pleasing. So here I'm going to stick with the uneven numbers, which means if you're going to do roses, you either do 1, 3, or 6. You don't do 1 or 2. You got to keep it uneven, right? When it comes to doodling, if you want to do a nice piece, if you're just doodling, do whatever you want. But aesthetically, if you're making an actual doodle piece for someone to either hang or put on a card, I would stick to doing 3s, which is so random for this class, but I also feel like it's necessary to know 3s is more aesthetically pleasing. All right, so we're gonna do the rose because I need to drink really quick. My mouth is going so dry talking for so long. Okay, so here's a flower. We're gonna do the rose right here. When it comes to drawing a piece, you're gonna wanna be aware of where the middle of your paper is, unless you don't care, because if you don't care, move it down. If you wanna put it in the corner and add a nice little lettering quote down there, whatever you want. For the sake of this project, we're gonna do it in the middle here. So this rose is gonna be a little bit off center. I'm going to start with those semicircles, bring them around, and I'm going to make the petals like so. And until I feel like it's a good size. Typically flowers too remain circular, so just keep that in mind as well. Sometimes I see people draw in pencil circles to mark where they want each petal. Okay, guys, I moved all of my markers over, but I don't remember what color I said I'd do here, so I'm gonna wing it. I liked this teal. I think it was the teal that I was gonna do there. Okay, so we're gonna start here in the middle with this almost carnation look. This one is a little bit less detail-y than the one I showed you guys how to do. More simple is the word, but we're going to bring it out. And then the petals that come down for the viewer are going to come here. And this time I made it so it overlaps. And this petal is going to cup a little bit right there. Perfect. Okay, now this blue, we're just going to do, I just did a simple flower like this. Again, if you at the end want to add your own details, that's great. If not, that's fine too. Okay. Then I see in the chats because I can multitask. I could possibly take some requests depending on like how to draw certain flowers, depending on the time. I don't want to shut you guys down, but also if you want specific requests and we don't get here today, I'm happy to take them over on my Instagram as well. If you guys want to message me about different like flower tutorials that you want, I love feedback like that. Because sometimes I don't want to use I want to be creative, but I don't want to think about what to be creative. You know, you feel me? Some of you do. Okay, let's get out petal colors. Like I said, sometimes I don't want to stick to the traditional look of petals. I think I want to do more of a darker blue for my petals. This is either cyan. No, this one's dark blue. I'm going to do that for my petals today. So I'm going to come in, add 3 right here. As you can tell, I pretty much stick to the rule of 3 when it comes to anything florally. Okay, but I'm also going to show you how to add ink, the Sarasa clip to these two. So I'm going to keep this one to 2, and then I'll come in with the Sarasa clip and add some fun details there. I'll stick this one to 1 and then come in with the Sarasa. And then for the look of this, let's see, what's a funky one we can use? I'm thinking a funky color we could use for that will be fuchsia. Let's do some fuchsia in here. Okay, I'm gonna do a thick downstroke right here, and then thin up stroke. Thick downstroke, thin up stroke, thick downstroke, thick downstroke, thin up stroke. Same. Okay. Okay, perfect. There we go. Okay, now to add the dots, let's see what color. Color for the dots. I'm gonna go with gray. Why not? Let's do some gray, but I want the brush. This one's a little darker gray, but that's okay. I like the dark gray. We have some light flowers, and these abstracty dots kind of bring it in. Ooh, guys, I want to show you how to do lavender too. Lavender is really fun to do with these type of brushes. Okay, I gotta hurry. We have like 10 more minutes, but that's okay. Okay, so with ink, here we go. I'm gonna add some ink accents here. I'm gonna add an ink leaf here, and I'm gonna add 2 ink leaves here. And I'm going to add some just line work here to make it fun. I'll outline this one because why not outline this one, make that funky. Maybe I'll add this line too. Really, guys, it's just about what you like best. And I'm going to add some funky lines here. I'm going for more like unrealistic, abstracty than like realistic, let's be honest. So let's do some squigglies on this one. Okay, That's funky. I love that. Love that. On this, I'm gonna not go directly on the petal line. I kind of like the unevenness thereof on that one. Same here. Add some funky like scratch marks here, scratch marks here. And on these flowers, I'm going to just randomly add some line work just because I want to. Really, this is all up to you and how funky you want to make it look, but you also need to know when to stop. So I do like this bright color, but I just want to add like just a couple like lines as well. Really, guys, there's no rules to this. I just want you to know that you just should explore what you like. And if you're feeling it, keep going. If you're not, step away. For this, I'm going to add just a couple funky like lines and then we'll finish up on that. And I busted out some green clip, Sarasa clip, but right now I'm only going to really do the black. Okay. Where's that gray? I feel like I need a couple more dots down here. You guys can feel it out too. I didn't add this in this picture, but I'm really feeling like I need to show you guys and I want to illustrate how to do some lavender. Lavender is really fun to do with these brush pens. And I know lavender is typically lavender. So we're kind of going against my trying to be funky in the moment rule. Oh gosh, you can see how like, I just feel like I need to add something. So I just do it. Don't hesitate to ever do it. I just felt like adding those. Okay. For lavender with these brush pens, you're going to start with just a line, a downstroke, and it's more just like funky little spots. There's always like little, you can see the stem sometimes in the lavender. So leave an empty spot. Sometimes the lavender goes wider. Sometimes it goes more narrow. And you just bring it together. And for sake, because we did talk, well, I talked, none of y'all are talking to me except for in the chat, about being unique in the coloring. See how you can kind of blend? Oh, that's a whole nother class to talk about with blending in these pens. They do blend if you get them together like quickly, and it's awesome. It's a great hack you can do. I'm pretty sure there's some tutorials on with zebra pen that you guys can look at with that. Okay, let's bring in the black. I'll make the black the stem. So as you can tell, I did the petals, they're petals on lavender right there. And I'm gonna bring the stem down in the middle right here. You can even do this with monoline on your mild liners as well to bring it together, but I kind of like the look of that right now. Let's do quickly, for sake of this, like just 3. I'm just gonna do it really quick, guys. You can see how fast it is to bust out just 3 little lavenders. You don't have to think about it too much. I'm adding 2 colors just for some funky depth and to show it off. Okay, right here, great. And again, like I said, 3 is the charm when it comes to floral design. It's fun to learn about floral design too if you're taking like drawing flowers seriously. That way you know what looks more pleasing. If I were to think that out more, I'd want these 3 to touch better at the bottom, but that's okay. We're not looking at that much. And then if you want, you can go in and add just like little semicircle details around some of the petals, since we do have ink work going on in this piece. Ink work doesn't have to be on everything. And sometimes for me, it's really hard to know when to stop because I'm like, oh, but it would look also good right here and right here. But no, sometimes it just looks better if you stop and you don't keep going. And like, if you need to, sometimes it's nice to just step away and look at a piece and come back to it later and then see if you really want it there. Okay, so there's some funky lavender. That's super easy to do with this. Okay, right now I'm gonna field a lot of your questions, as many questions as you can. And if I can bust out a flower pretty quickly, if this is okay with Zebra or Michael's, if we can bust out a couple different flowers that you've requested, I'm gonna try to do that. Okay, let's see. Okay, mixed media. I actually don't love mixed media paper when it comes to vinyl. Not vinyl, felt tip. It is a little bit too rough. Unless you don't care about that, like it will fray your pens a little bit more. Poppy leaves, again, you guys can look at the worksheet. It's more choppy. A folded leaf is fairly easy when it comes to drawing it. I'll do it with the monoline. If you're gonna look at a leaf, right, you can actually just draw a leaf a normal way and then add that folded curve right here. You might want to add the texture of the fold, and then come in with another color that's like beneath it. That kind of just shows that it's a folded leaf. And I'm hurrying through this because we are almost out of time, but y'all get the idea. Okay. Can you show us how to do the center of a flower with depth? It just depends on the flower, guys. Some of them are like this, with the poppy, where you look down, and poppies in the middle actually have like this like weird, funky crossing looking pattern that if you were to use ink, you can come in and add later. If I were to draw a poppy from the top, I would actually add ink, because I do like to add the choppy ink. Like I've said a million times, sometimes I feel bad for repeating myself. But if I were to draw a poppy looking down, this is how I would do it. Oh, that's okay. And then sometimes in the back, it goes like that. Okay. You guys can hear my children. I'm sorry. Okay. Mixed media paper can be used. Yes. Like I said, wouldn't like recommend it fully unless it's just the Sarasa clip. Have you seen other brush pens to change colors? Yes, you can, guys, just quickly, you can do that trick with these pens to change the colors if you want. You attach the felt tips together. I recommend doing the darker color onto the lighter color. So right now I'm going to want to, let's see, put the darker, like the purple onto the blue. And it's super fun, a super fun technique. Okay, see how that purple is on the blue right now? It's going to then create that effect as you get it on the paper where it goes dark to light. Super fun. And you can do it on any of these pens, combine them like so. You get a cool unique look. Okay, I've seen others using brush pens, change color. Yep, just showed you that. Can you show hibiscus? Hibiscus is a little bit harder to show in the short time we have. So I'm gonna skip that one right now. Christina using Sarasa. Yep. Okay. They are easy for me because I have practiced a lot, guys. Just practice a lot, and you can honestly just sit there and doodle and all the above. Will you ever draw a plushie? I don't know if that's a flower or if that's like the stuffed animal thing that you mean. And yes, I can do those stuffed animals. Okay. There's more. Hi. Okay, let's see. Draw some tulips. Okay, I'll draw one tulip before we log off. Okay, tulips are fun. And I'll do it with a brush pen. Okay, with tulips. And guys, this is just from my brain. So if it's not exact, I'm sorry. With tulips, look, this is a short little sketch that they look, the closed ones kind of look like this, right? So that's kind of it's almost like encapsulated. And then you're going to come down and add, sometimes tulips have those petals. I like the thick stem of tulips. So you could do it like that, where you bring up that petal and this one to like encapsulate it. Right. So that's a shut tulip. Or if you want a more open tulip, they have more of a cupping edge with the petal coming up from the middle right there. Okay, beautiful tulip festival here in Utah. So you can also add the texture as well. This can also be more not pointed, but more round. And come down, add some lines. Then we'll add that nice little petals and a stem. Hopefully that helps for like a simple tulip flower for you guys to doodle with. It's nothing like glorious or amazing, but it does the trick. Okay. Okay, and And let's see, is canvas good to work on? No, not with these pens. These, you should use paper. Does that touching tip mess with the color, mess up the pen colors for the future use? No, once you get, so once it all comes out, it goes back to the normal color. You can tell even right now it's starting to, and it's back. We're back to the normal color. It does not ruin the pen at all. Okay, again, if you guys want any other specific flowers not mentioned here, feel free to message me on Instagram. I can show you guys how to do it. And thank you for coming to the class today. Again, these things are free, and oh, hi, I'm right here. These worksheets are free to download and use as you so please. And they're super fun. You can create, as you can see behind me, this one right here I did, fun little doodles. This one my daughter did, but I do love to doodle. Oh, look, there's my son's handprint. So doodles are great, and they're fun ways to fill the page. This one was another doodle that I did with flowers and a nice pen. But again, if you guys have any questions, please message me or Zebra, and hopefully we can help you. But it was super fun to join you guys today. And yeah, enjoy drawing those flowers. Please, no, I did not bust this out just overnight. Y'all need to practice. You need to work hard. And if you just sit down while you're watching a show at night, or sit down while your kids are drawing, or if you want to do something while you eat your breakfast, literally just sit there with one pen. You just need one. This has the bullet and this has the brush, and just doodle and just practice your brush stroke, practice your lines. I see that someone asked if I did another class. I did a brush lettering class with these pens as well. So if you check that out, you can learn how to brush letter. If yeah, that's it for me today. Thanks for joining. You guys are awesome, and have a great week. Thank you.